Everybody, welcome back to our channel. I'm Gretchen,
I'm Camille.
and we are starting over. In case you're wondering what this podcast is, what the heck is this podcast? We are talking about all things about relationship, about manifesting, about becoming your best self, and things like that.
And starting over when you need to start over. Everyone's got to start over at some point. You can start over every day, all day, or maybe life's on you, and something happens and you got to start over.
All the time, you always have the choice and the power to start over in your thoughts.
That's right.
So today we want to talk about what?
Well, why do we pick the kind of people we pick? I mean, why did I pick you as my best friend?
What the hell?
You know?
Why you pick me, Camille?
No, they pick people, and we kind of look at them and say, why would you pick that person? And I'll tell you, an unconscious motivator why you pick people is that person has a similar level of trauma that you do.
Really?
Really. So people feel comfortable with that.
Okay.
I mean, I know couples that, both people were cheated on. And so and a woman got pregnant by this guy's best friend, and then he met a woman, and her ex got her best friend pregnant.
Dang.
And they ended up together, right? Because they understand each other. It's like
But is that the healthiest thing?
I'm not saying it's the healthiest thing, but it definitely, it lends at least an understanding.
But that goes back to you get what you are. You
We get what we are.
attract what you are. And if
100%.
you are always in a victim mode process, if you're always thinking, this always happens to me, or people always cheat on me, or, whoa, of things of the past, you're going to keep going that way. Abraham Hicks talks about, oftentimes people think, well, if I move, or if I start a new job or whatever. And the theory is, you can do all that, but you're taking all that with you as well.
You're taking you with you as well, right?
And so, you can't think that just because you leave one relationship and the next one's going to be just perfect and better if you don't clean up
That's right.
what it was.
Well, and ultimately, any relationship, you're going to get triggered. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what's interesting is when I work with couples and they're triggered by each other, they're upset, they're angry. That trigger has been there before. So usually our triggers are already in us before we meet people and get married or get locked into a relationship. So if you get triggered, it's your problem.
Yeah.
That person, but people break up, that they trigger me. I can't be with them. Well, wait a minute. You're the one triggered. So how do they know what your triggers are? They don't
know that. As a matter of fact, we talked about in another podcast, you mentioned this, that sometimes people are like, oh, I can't hear that song. That reminds me of this memory, or I can't go to this restaurant. Or
Journey.
Because it brings up a bad memory, but that is still only your problem.
That's
it's
your
not
perception.
The song's problem.
Nope.
It's not the restaurant's problem.
Nope.
It's and we're not meant to live in a life where we are
stuck in our story,
and kind of trapped in bad memories.
That's right. Well, and this is where your emotional issues, like you take yourself with you wherever you go. You take your emotional state of mind with you wherever you go. But again, if you've got a trigger, then that's something you can work on. And that's why we say we can start over. So let's just say you get upset about something, or that reminded you of your past. Does that mean that relationship has to end? You have to end that relationship or walk away from that song or whatever because you can't handle it? Or can you?
And I think it goes into even a little bit deeper things. Say you're in a different relationship and something does trigger you, whoever it is, and like you were saying, that person doesn't know.
No.
So it's the healthiest thing for you. Again, we talk about this all the time, of filling up your own cup.
Yeah.
You go through your own shit, so to say, like take care of it. Don't expect that person to come in and clean house and make things right that were a cause of somebody else.
Yes.
Right.
Well, we don't fix anybody. Ultimately we have to fix ourselves. But if you get triggered and you're emotional and you're...
Is that the problem? Nobody can fix me?
I've tried. No,
I know.
No. Actually, I think that's exactly the solution is you have fixed yourself. We fix ourselves. But it really comes down to if my emotional state of mind is my responsibility.
Yes.
And if I've got something I'm incomplete about my past, then if I don't do the work on myself to I'll tell you where the magic is in life is when you really do the work on yourself that you're avoiding. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if people really haven't wanted to talk about death or someone that they're grieving or whatever they're hanging on to from their past, if they don't want to date again because they don't want to go through that again, when someone says, I'm never going through that again, they're stuck. They're stuck in that past.
Yeah.
And their past is in their future in their mind because they think that a marriage is that again. Does that make sense? Yeah.
And ironically, you're actually attracting that.
You are,
you don't want that, but that's what your focus is. And when your focus is on no matter whatever the subject is, that's where you go.
Yeah.
So what you think about today actually predicts your tomorrow.
Yes. We
So if
choose
you
it
don't,
now.
yeah. So if you don't like a feeling that you're feeling today, you gotta start over and switch that mindset now. You got to work on it now so that you don't keep,
Yes.
building this out. I think sometimes I know of a situation. There was this girl that was in high school, and she was at a pretty desperate, depressed state, and she dated this guy. And he kind of was in the same state too.
Yeah.
But they stayed together for a few years after high school until she realized she outgrew him. He never changed.
Yeah.
He still was the same way, but she did change. She developed. She grew in herself. And then all of a sudden, they weren't aligned anymore.
Right.
And there wasn't anything that she could say like, I want to break up with him because of this reason. It just was a matter of like, you just outgrew somebody.
Yeah. Doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that happens to all of us. And then we stay because we feel guilty. We don't want to
Have
hurt
you outgrown
anybody.
me?
Well, I wonder if you have. No. Not yet. I'll let you know, though. I'll be
Well,
off
with back
in
home
it.
beauties, I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's right. But I do think what you said earlier, what we fear, we're creating. And why is that? Because what we put our attention on is what we kind of manifest. Attention is it's like we're spending our energy. That's our currency, our spirit, so to speak. So whatever you spend your spirit on, you're making more of.
Yeah.
So if you're fearing something, you're still sending your energy there. So of course you're going to create that, which is awful. People hate hearing that, but it's the truth. So how do you want to deal with that? You want to take that on. You don't want to be afraid of dealing with your fears and your phobias.
No, and you don't want, seriously, I think the biggest problem, I think women have this problem. I don't know, you would know just because of your profession, but I think women sometimes think that it's really easy. If I just get into a relationship, they're going to make everything all better.
Yes.
I'm not going to have to think about this thing that I need to change in myself because I don't want to deal with it now. And if I just get focused on a relationship, then I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
And what we see time and time again, the premise of starting over is for everybody at any stage. When you have those moments and you put that burden on somebody else to change you, to change your past, to change your habits, to change your thought patterns, whatever it is, to change your addictions, whatever it is always going to end up empty. It always is, because it's not somebody else's responsibility to make you whole.
No. And that's just codependency. But when you don't have that person, something happens, that relationship breaks up or they leave or something, now who are you? Who are you going to be?
And it makes me think, too, about like empty nesters. You hear all the time, and it's meant as a joke, but I think there's a lot of truth in it, in that what's the mom going to do anymore? Who's she cooking for anymore? And that's because her life has been so consumed
with kids,
with that
her purpose,
responsibility, and all of that. That's her identity. And
right.
all of a sudden that identity goes, and who is she? Now you got to get to know that person you live with.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Maybe I don't want to, or
that's right.
Maybe it's a good thing.
I do a program called Soulmate Second Chance, and it's about that. So specifically, it's when people become empty nest, and would you pick each other all over again? And you want to make sure you're happy, and you would do it again. And if you don't, you come see me. So, and
she's really busy.
I've been very
There's
busy.
a lot of people that come.
But it really is a new stage of life where you are starting over together, and you're starting over for yourself too.
That's the most important thing.
100%.
I can tell you right now, like from cancer, that was my aha moment. It wasn't the cancer that I learned the most from. It was me deciding to take a new look at me.
Yes.
It was me deciding that I was worth feeling better, and not just because of the illness, but because of just life and just, I'm not a big proponent of living in the past and digging up all kinds of shit that you've had from childhood. I think it's smart to recognize it, but I don't think it's smart to stay in a victim mode of I am this way because this person or this belief or whatever that is. It's been helpful for me to recognize like, okay, that's where that comes from. But I'm more in charge of me than a memory.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go and I'm not going to live my life from a past memory, a past hurt. And I certainly am not going to expect who's ever in my life to take that on.
No, that's right. But
Can I get an amen?
Amen. I love it. That's good. But I also feel like when you're present, when you're right here, right now, then the past doesn't capture you.
Yeah.
And I think most people are present and then they get triggered. But if you're triggered, that just means you have something to look at in your past.
Yeah.
And talk about it. Like I think cognitive therapy is probably the best thing to do.
One of the things that I do every day, I have my own channel that I do videos on, and I talk about this frequently, is you need to invest in you. Like that is the most important part of your day, is your morning, because you're setting up your day with what you want, what you desire. It's really easy to, get up, make your coffee, get in the shower, get your day going, and you never stop to plan, what do I want? How do I want to feel this day? Not necessarily what do I want to accomplish? What's the person I want to be? And as you go about your day, do you forget that talk that you just had with yourself in the morning, or do you take the time to go like, okay, I did this and I felt this way, or this happened, whatever it is. And then at the end of the day, take inventory. And I always replay things that didn't go the way I wanted to, and I replay them in my mind before I go to sleep so that I wake up in a better position. Yeah. I don't want to marinate on stuff that didn't go right because I'm just going to bring that into my day tomorrow.
That's right. It doesn't have to mean anything. It doesn't have to upset us. But it's something to look at and say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is
Or you
good.
go see Camille.
Yeah. People, I would say, how you guys doing? They're not coming to see me because they're doing great. It's one of those days. It's like, yeah, you're coming to see me because you got some stuff going on.
How do you help people, Camille, that both people want to be right?
Well, I say that. I'm like, okay, so both of you are going to need to be right, but what if this person is only hitting your button? What if it's not really about this person that you need to be right? Who do you really need to be right about? And is this something from your past? So most people they have that routine fight. It's like a couple has the same fight over and over and over, different versions, but it's the same kind of thing. It's a fairness issue or I don't trust issue. But usually that wound is the wound from before the marriage.
True.
And the real way to resolve that is to get them to look at what's going on with them and how that person's just hitting their button and it's not really about them. And if they can resolve from their past what was incomplete, they usually don't take it out on each other anymore.
I heard this expression. This lady goes, I am moving my goat. I'm going to move my goat so people are not getting it anymore.
That's funny. That's actually
Y'all
really
are probably
good.
too young to even know what that means, but we have a little audience here.
Maybe you should explain it. Maybe explain that out.
Okay, for all you people out there, like, what the hell?
Woman,
are you talking
explain
about?
that to me. Explain it.
Getting your goat is an expression that means like people are punching your buttons, or
getting a reaction.
Getting a reaction, kind of a thing.
That's right.
And I know that even in parenting, there are some parents that they want to see what kind of reaction they can get. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Yeah.
It's not. But have you ever been in a situation where somebody's like, do you remember when you were 2? Do you remember what you did?
The guilt trip.
Yeah, and the person is like, no, what did I do? I'm sorry. I was 2. And but somehow that brings satisfaction to that person that's saying it. Do you remember what you did? They're not letting go and seeing you for who you are now. I really hope I'm a better person today than I was 10 years ago.
Oh, for sure. But let me analyze that.
Break it down.
If someone, if you've got a parent that has a thrill out of reminding you that you made a mess at 2, of course you did because you were 2. But if there's some sort of value they get out of that, some sort of validation, that's the person that's got some sort of mental illness.
You think?
So if there's a guilt trip, do you know what I did for you when you were 2? Something like that.
Right.
It's like that person's not knowing who they are.
Exactly.
They're not operating as a parent because that's just the nature of the beast. So they aren't clear about what the nature of the beast is to be a parent. So,
and I think when people, like when you have somebody in a relationship that doesn't communicate, doesn't know how to communicate, doesn't have a desire to communicate, that problem is with them.
Yes.
That is never your problem, and it's never your job to fix that.
You can't. You just can't fix it.
They don't have a desire to communicate, which means they really don't want to look at themselves.
Yeah. Well, and communication actually can get past some of that issue, right? But some people hate conflict. They're afraid of conflict because of past issues that didn't work out or whatever.
Let's just avoid.
Just
keep things nice.
Avoid it. Yeah.
And we all know that festers.
Always.
So you all of a sudden have some explosive, crazy moment.
And that's exactly. So signs of someone who's festering and holding a grudge, like they're grudging on you, is they're critical. They're kind of snide remarks, mean comments, judgy. They're critical of you, and that's when you go, oh, what's going on? What are you upset about? And they've been stepping over 20 or 30 things, and they're just kind of ready to blow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I had that today. I had that today with my clients. Yeah.
Oh, y'all, I was in the other room. I was like, dear baby Jesus,
I'm like,
please bless this whole situation because this is not going to go down good.
I hit mute. Hold on, me and Gretchen. I'm in triage. Hold on.
I know. I hear it all. Trust me.
Oh, she was very patient with me, but I could not leave these married young couple in the state of mind they were in. I'm like, okay, we're going to get through this. But again, we're power struggling with usually a younger version of ourselves.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Again, if we always throw this out. If you guys would like to work with us, we do one-on-one coaching. We also do seminars. We do speaking events. Whatever you would like, you can message us here. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.